What's up, guys? How's it going? So today we are going to look at basically you have your shroom farm and your prayer statue, right? One thing that always helps to build is a set for specific builds, right? If you're wondering about my mage build, the build so far, right, is I'm running this set. So I've got a bonded mask for crit rate, thunder kite, I have Flamebook, I have the Crimson Sickle Necklace, the Time Statue, and the Magic Box. Now, I could, alright, for example, move this over to Skill Crit Rate, and I can kind of demonstrate what the difference is, right? Which is to say that if you get 5% Skill Crit Rate versus 10% Crit Rate in general, you kind of have to tap here at the bottom right. And then here you can actually see what your individual skill stats are for your build. One of the things that a lot of people tend to forget is skill crit and your crit rate. So, of course, there's a little bit of connecting, but basically the difference is so crit rate is like if you were to turn off all your skills, say like for example, you every once in a while you get a little red dot like that, which is on your basic attacks. Basically, crit rate goes off of crit damage, and then from crit damage, it's then going to take that amount and it's going to multiply, basically that's the amount of damage that you're going to do. Versus where skill crit and skill crit damage are going to be using the damage that you would get off of a skill crit. And then, of course, you're using the skill damage ratio from that to basically go into the actual amount of damage that you're going to do on a skill. So like, for example, if I pop that and you get a bunch of red ones, that's, kind of the idea. And so, of course, now you're probably wondering, okay, well, if I'm working on counter damage or if I'm running different builds, well, basically what you're doing is, like, you can look at your combo, for example, and with combo, you have a combo multiplier, and then from there, you've got, and basically, these are where people make their builds, I guess, if that makes any sense. Like, you look at, like, stun, for example, right? And if you, just like, you, in here, you've got your stun and your evasion stats, which is, how often you evade, in the case of evasions, and how often you stun. And then you've even got stats in here for regeneration, ignoring stun, ignoring evasion. You've got your basic attack multiplier, and then you've got your resistances as well. You've also got your counter multiplier, and so you've got a lot of different stats in here. I mean, there's even PAL damage resistance, boss damage, and boss damage resistance. Now, if, like everything, of course, you get your core stats, attack, HP, and attack speed, right? So you've got those, but then you've also can see what your individual gear pieces are going to provide. And this is really kind of random. So you've, part of the RNG that is part of the lamps themselves, right? But then you've also got, you've got it coming in from your back accessory. You've got everything that you pull directly out of your talent tree. And then you've even got, stats coming in from the attack bonuses in here, even for your artifact. You've got the base HP attack and defense percentages you get out of the relics. Plus, you've even got what you're getting out of the individual souls. I mean, so there's a lot of different places that you can increase and improve, as you can tell. But the idea behind a lot of this is that if you're wanting to try and build a mage, for example, you're going to have a lot of stuns because you want your skill CD to go down really low. Which typically means you can either do one of two things. You can either increase skill damage, right? Which is to say that right now I'm using Bonded Mask because the crit rate is going to determine how many times my basic attacks are going to be doing damage. And because I don't have a whole lot of decent skills yet, there's not a whole lot of sense in upgrading the skill crit rate, right? But if, let's say, for example, now I've got a couple of decent skills, like right now I have the Immortal skill, and I want that to proc and have a higher chance of critting, I also want to then also improve the amount of skill damage that I'm doing as well. Now you might notice that in my build I have a lot of crit damage at 943, but if I look at my skill crit, it's only 109. And that's partly because I need to invest more and more of my time into basically increasing the skill damage that I'm doing in order to make this build really viable. And that's kind of how you're able to evaluate what you're doing and how you're doing it in this game. And so I thought this was worthy of at least mentioning, because I feel like a lot of people don't pay attention to the attributes that you get. And frankly, it's a super helpful place to kind of determine what you need to work on and what you're missing out on. Alright, so pretty much you just need to follow along, and this is going to pretty much show you how to get that 5% discount on your purchases in Legend of Mushroom. So this is all you pretty much need to do, is just basically install Legend of Mushroom. And you have to have Aptoid's version of this, and then of course you need to have the AppCoin wallet as well. Again, these are both in the description down below, so you're more than welcome to take a look at these, come and download them. Once you've actually downloaded them and installed them, then all you got to do is basically open it up. And the AppCoin's wallet is basically a crypto app in a sense, but really all you're going to do is just go to the rewards tab, go to the promo codes tab, put in the promo code that I've got down in the description, which is Dakanoth LM, and then you'll be able to get your 5% extra bonus on the game, so you can save money playing the game.